my name is Representative Pam Powers Hanley, and I represent LD9 in Tucson in the Arizona House. Well, today is January 12, 2022. This is Wednesday, the first week of the legislature. And so this week, before the committees start, we have a flurry of activity as people run around the House and try to get other people to sign on to their bills and try to promote their bills, things like that. And so that's what I'm up to today. I am focusing again this year on social determinants of health, helping people in Arizona keep food on their table and a roof over their heads, and also on adverse childhood experiences. Arizona is one of the worst states in the country for adverse childhood experiences. This would be like food insecurity, housing insecurity, and things like that. So we need to protect our children. We need to protect our citizens in the state of Arizona, as far as I'm concerned. And we need to give them the freedom to thrive. Right now, the state has way too many policies that force people to live into poverty. And so I don't want to do that. Forcing people to live with sickness and poverty is not good for them. It's not good for their families. It's not good for the state. We all thrive when we all thrive, is the way I look at it. So I am proposing again this year to increase the amount for temporary assistance for needy families, because again, we're one of the stingiest states in the country, so we should be giving people more money per month. We found out during the pandemic, when people had more money in their pockets with the pandemic unemployment, that they actually spent money and it helped our economy. So for the people who don't care about helping the poor, it's going to help our bottom line. How about that? The other thing that I'm proposing again is to increase the temporary assistance to needy families to the full 5 years. And so that gives people some time to dig themselves out of poverty, because there are lots of facets to being in poverty. There are lots of reasons why people end up in poverty. And they say, instead of giving somebody a fish, give them a fishing pole. So with increasing TANF, we're giving them a fishing pole to get themselves up out of poverty. The other thing that I'm proposing again is my truth in renting bill. We have an affordable housing crisis in the state of Arizona, obviously. And when I first came here in 2017, people came around and they were talking to me about different incentives for developers to build low-income housing or affordable housing. And I said, why do we have to make the developers richer just to help the poor? It seems like there should be other things we could do. Well, there are definitely lots of other things we could do besides giving incentives to encourage developers to build affordable housing. For example, I have a background in public health, and in public health, we stress prevention. So how can we prevent homelessness? How can we prevent evictions? Can we help people keep that roof over their heads? And so with the Truth in Renting bill, I'm looking at transparency. I have rented an apartment every year that I've been in the legislature, and I learned a lot about leases and the way the leases are written these days. There are so many little tricks. For example, on the apartment complex websites, sometimes they will give you the rent. You don't always get the rent without paying an application fee. Now that stinks. They will give you the rent, but they don't tell you all the fees. And so maybe you're renting a place and say, well, $1,000 a month is a little high, but I think I can swing it. But then when you go to sign the lease, they've got $200 in unknown fees on top. I think you should know those fees in advance. It should be right there on their website. And if they're optional services, you should be able to get out of it. For example, one year I had to pay for valet garbage, and my apartment was like with 20 feet from the dumpster. I still had to pay to have somebody take it over there on a designated day. That was unnecessary. I also think that there are things that we could do with seniors to help them keep them in their houses. There are programs to help seniors pay their taxes. For example, indigent seniors, if their taxes go up because of gentrification, let's help them stay in those houses that they've been living in forever. And knowing your lease, you need to know what's in your lease. Some of these leases, they're like 40 pages long. And one of the things that I've been seen in there several times is, even though medical marijuana and marijuana are legal in the state of Arizona, these apartment complexes that are national chains make it illegal to use any type of cannabis in your apartment. What if you're a cancer patient and you get diagnosed while you're living in this apartment? According to that lease, you cannot use medical marijuana in that apartment, and that is just another way for them to boot you out. So the leases have too many tricks, the landlords have too much power, and I want to have the tenants have a little bit more power in what's going on. I'd also like to have the cities and towns have more power. So we're looking at getting rid of some of the preemption bills that the state has passed in the past, and so a lot of changes if I were governor.